Welcome to the Office Latte podcast, where we go beyond the boardroom to explore new conversations on life and career. I'm Erin Kennedy, CEO of Professional Resume Services and wife, mother, sister, daughter, aunt, and friend. Now, let's dive in. Hey, Sam, how are you today?
Good. How's it going?
It is going. It's going. Do you remember that one time you and I had this discussion? We were talking about that friend of mine who has all those kids, and now it's like she's having an identity crisis, like she's
because
like
you were,
mom of big family, and then her kids, all got jobs, graduated, whatever they did, moved out, and so she's really, really struggling. You remember how we were kind of talking about that one day?
yeah, because I remember like she kind of came to you for career advice, but was also like, I'm not necessarily doing the career thing,
Right.
or like she wasn't asking for like executive level, that kind of stuff, but she was like, do you
Like,
do
what do I
these-
do?
Yeah, what do I do?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I think when we talked about this was that like it's similar to the career identity crisis you have when you either retire or you switch jobs, or maybe you
Yeah,
go
or
and
pivoting or something.
yeah, you go and be a stay-at-home mom, and then you're like, my
Yeah.
identity was being a career woman, and now I'm at home doing
Yeah.
quote unquote nothing. But
Yeah. And, and I know she struggles, and it's just mainly the whole, like, what do I do now? I've been a stay-at-home mom for 25 years. I haven't worked. I've worked a couple little gigs here and there, but nothing substantial. And now what? What do I do?
yeah,
So, after you and I talked about that, I was just really kind of thinking about it a lot. And okay, so then you know how things work. Woohoo. I met somebody online. Sounds like a
Nice.
date. We
I know.
met online.
I'm like,
I
oh,
met someone online. Yeah. No, I started following her. Her name is Lorraine Walsh.
nice.
And that's exactly what she does. She helps women in their 40s kind of figure out the what's next.
Yeah.
Like helping her tagline is helping moms in their 40s prepare for what's coming next and build a life no matter, where they matter, but no matter like what stage they're in. And I just thought,
I
oh my
love that.
gosh, I know so many people, so many women, I think, especially if you've stayed at home or whatever, could benefit from listening to her and talking to her. So I'm really excited that she's our next guest today.
Me too. I am too. I think I think this is like so helpful for anyone too struggling with like career identity stuff. Like that's so
Yeah.
normal. If you're listening
Yeah.
and you have that at any age, that's so normal. Whether
Right.
it's being a mom in that identity, whether it's your career identity, whether it's like the intersectionality of that,
Right.
or not wanting to be a mom and that, like, there's just so many different things.
Yes.
And I feel like this conversation, even for myself, I'm not a mom. I feel like I'm going to get a lot out of this conversation. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Me too. Maybe I'll just read a little bit of her bio.
Yeah.
As a compassionate empath, I bring a natural ability to deeply understand and connect with others' emotions and challenges. Originally from Ireland, you will detect a little.
Ooh.
I know, I love it. Originally from Ireland, I've lived in the U.S. for 30 years, an experience that has strengthened my resilience and broadened my understanding of diverse cultures and everyday struggles we face. I'll just kind of briefly go over. My journey includes raising 4 children and having been the backbone to my husband's businesses is really deep in my empathy and respect for everyone's unique path. This is why I chose life coaching women in their 40s because it's such a huge transition decade for moms as they navigate life with young adults, marriage fractures, and the impending empty nest. Her coaching, it says, helps you cut through the noise, hear your own voice, and rebuild what you want for yourself, gaining confidence by deciding what you want and finally activating a life that fits who you are becoming.
That's beautiful.
I
I
know.
love this. I like this energy. I'm excited. I
too.
feel like I kind of got goosebumps. So I was like,
I know. And I will tell you, excuse me, our pre-talk,
Yeah.
it was supposed to be 15 minutes, and I think it was like
Yeah.
half hour,
You're like, let's
45
start
minutes.
recording.
We
Good.
could not
Yeah.
stop talking. And I was like, oh my gosh. I said, we need to save some of this for the podcast. So
Love
I
that.
hope everybody enjoys it. And I
Yeah.
think we should just jump on it.
Sounds good.
Hello, Lorraine. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Erin, it is a pleasure to be here and an honor to be here. And I've been so excited just to think about coming on and talking with you and just, just sharing with you because
Me
that's
too.
what I love to do.
Me too. And I was telling Summer before this that you and I, when we talked, we ended up talking for a long, long time. It was going to be like a 15-minute brief, just kind of going over the podcast, and we ended up just going on and on and on, which was amazing. And then I was like, okay, we need to stop so we can save some of this for the podcast.
I know, and I'm actually guilty of that a lot. I tend to, just I talk a lot. That's the
It's not a
Irishness in
bad
me.
thing. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I blame the Irishness in me because we were, an Irish word called the Shanachie, and it's the Irish storyteller, and I do believe I've got a little bit of an Irish storyteller inside me, so I do like to talk. So, but
I
that's a good
love it.
thing.
I love stories.
Yeah,
I love listening. So, I'm here for it.
yeah. So
All
happy to
right.
be here.
So good. So I read your bio
Yeah.
before you and I came on together. So what inspired your mission? Let's just dive in. What inspired your mission to help moms in their 40s build a life beyond motherhood? I mean, I know, I'll just say briefly, Summer and I were talking that I know a couple of women, a few women whose whole lives have been, they're women of bigger families, 4+ kids. I know you have four as well. But and their identity has been being a stay-at-home mom, being mom, and suddenly the kids are grown, they're in college or they're off, they've moved out. And now it's kind of like, okay, now what? What do I do? Who am I? So I loved when I saw your message about, start thinking about that like in your 40s and what women in their 40s can do. So tell me, so again, what inspired you to start working with moms in their 40s? Was there like a what about me moment in your own story?
Yeah, I think there's a number of things that I'd love to share with you about what inspired me to get here today. So, and one of them, the first one is I am a mom that has just gone through this phase and is still going through this phase because I have still a 14-year-old at home, but I'm a mom of four kids. So I relate really well to women that have this struggle in their life because I've lived it. It's tangible. I can
Yeah.
touch it.
Yes.
But my history is I moved here from Ireland and we just started creating our own business, my husband and I. So I was kind of very involved in that, but that was entirely his passion project. That was what he loved to do. And at first I was like, I don't really know construction. I don't know anything about it, but
Yeah.
I learned and I fell into it, and I understood it and and I supported him all the way through, and he opened other businesses and I was his support system. And that was fine. And then I became a mom, and then I had the luxury of being able to stay home and then go to work when I was needed,
Yeah.
and I just invested all of myself into my four children. From finding their kindergarten school to the best one you can find to helping them with the homework, with the
Just
sports, with
everything.
everything.
Soup to nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, and my husband was working a lot, so I was there, and I was the parent at home with my
Yes.
children. So, and then got to college and helping them with college applications and with it all, and I was just hands on, and my investment was into my children.
Yeah.
But I found when I got into my 40s, something shifted in me, Erin, and it wasn't something that I could put my a finger on it. It was like a some I lean into calling it like my soul's calling. My soul
Okay.
started screaming at me, and it was kind of like my mid 40s, and I was like, what is going on? Like, why do I feel so discombobulated? Why do I feel
Yeah.
like there's something off in me and I don't know what it is? And of course, we have the hormone situation going on with
Right.
women as we head into perimenopause and
Right.
stuff, and that shifts everything because that estrogen, which is the love hormone,
Right.
starts depleting and being
Yes.
replaced by the progesterone, which is the I don't really give a flip kind of
Right.
hormone,
The We Do
so
Not Care Club. Yeah.
yeah, so, and it kind of hits you really hard where you're like, I don't care so much about things in the house. I don't
Making
care
sure
so
dinner
much.
is on the table. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I wouldn't.
I hear you,
You
girl.
feel that calling. It's like, what are
Yes.
you going to do for you today? So,
Yes.
and then when I did start my coaching business, and I have a little story to go behind that, because when I got that calling and it really got really loud and I couldn't ignore it anymore, I decided that yes, it was time for Lorraine to get to do something for herself. So I ended up signing up to become a chatbot builder. And
A
but
what?
a chatbot builder. You know, these when you
Oh,
go on these,
chatbot. Okay,
yeah, when you go
chatbot.
on these
Okay.
websites and
Interesting.
they
Yeah.
act like the human, and they ask you all the questions and you enter your data and then it goes back to the
How
business.
in the world did you get into that?
You know, I know now, with awareness and reflection, I can look back and say, because I wanted that so I could support my husband some more. I wanted to have something.
Yeah.
And I'm a 100% people pleaser. So I wanted to do that so I could help him with his business, that I could maybe go and, have something on the side that I could do, but I would be able to
Right.
still support him. And I fell on my face. I fell on my face hard because it wasn't for me. And, they do say what's for you will find you if you go searching for it. So I tried and tried, and it was like there was a 3-day window before I would hear back from somebody if I got stuck, and it just
Yeah.
became so frustrating.
Yeah.
So around the same time, I got an email from Jay Shetty, and the most amazing human on the
Most
planet.
amazing human ever. Yeah.
Honestly, and
Yeah.
I just had the wonderful experience of actually meeting him out in LA, and with three
Okay, we have to
under.
talk about that. We have to talk about
Yes.
that. Yeah, but
Oh,
go
we
okay, go
will.
ahead.
And so he was as incredible in person as he is on
Oh,
all of his social media.
oh my
And it came
gosh.
across my computer, and it was like coaching, you know, like, what do you, it was just looking at me, and I was like, but it didn't look at me very long, because I was like, oh my goodness, this is for me. This is for me. So he did
Wow.
an intro.
Just that
He
aha
actually,
moment.
yeah, it was a huge aha moment. But of course, then there was an interview involved, and I was like, and he goes, "We have to interview you to see if you're a good fit." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what if I'm not a good fit?" But Erin, looking back, I've been a coach my whole life. I've been coaching children. I've been coaching my husband. I have been
Sure.
the coach
Hmm.
in our house. Taking kids through, if they didn't get on teams, if they, didn't do well in a test, if they did
Yes.
all of that
Yes.
stuff.
Hmm. Yep.
So I was already a coach. So once I did the interview, I was accepted. And through my coaching, I coached women, because I had to do trainee coaching, pro bono coaching. And all of my clients, I wanted male clients. I really wanted them, but the universe had a different idea for me. And I only got female coaches, all in their 40s, who,
Interesting.
once I coached them and I realized where they were in the life and where they could actually get to with coaching, it was my aha moment. And I didn't even hesitate when I needed to pick my niche. I was like, I'm going to niche down and I'm going to coach me.
Oh,
Because I have the experience of being in this place and knowing how lost I can feel,
yep.
without direction, without a trajectory that's going to bring me forward and take me through the next 30 years of my life. And that's
Yes.
where I picked my niche. And
Wow.
I will say out loud, I love women. I think
Hmm.
women are the most amazing
Me
creatures.
too. Yes.
Just, we are the creators.
Hmm.
We create life,
Yes.
and then we continue to give selflessly
Yes,
to
we
these
do.
lives.
Hmm.
And we are just, and I really think we're the underdogs. We're underserved, and we can
Girl.
get,
Yes.
right?
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes. You know how I feel about that. Yes, we are very
Yeah.
underserved. I mean, 30 years or not 30 yet, but 25 years in the careers industry, women are constantly underserved. I mean, and undervalued and under everything. Yeah, I see it. I hear you.
Yeah.
Wow. So wow. Okay. So you went, you talked you took Jay Shetty's training,
Yes.
and you got a certification then?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. I'm a life and success coach, and of course, and then further down that, then my niche is women in their 40s.
Yes.
That that are trying to find a way forward.
A way forward. Exactly. So, you know, let's talk about how women's identity, for example, my friends that I have, um, impacts their lives and struggles with, I mean, well, these are lots of different things, um, but let's talk about identity. Let's talk about, because that's the one thing I I really feel bad for my friends, especially two. They both have college degrees, both have really never used them, maybe just a couple of part-time little jobs within the schools, but
Yeah.
not, never a full-time thing. And suddenly they're like, "Ugh, I'm 50. I'm whatever, 55.
I
What am I
know.
going to do with the rest of my life? I'm ready to work." And, they don't really have a lot of experience. What do I do?
Yeah.
What do you recommend for someone in that
Well,
position? So you
and
recommend starting in your 40s,
yes,
right?
I
Like
do.
thinking
I,
about
I
it. Okay.
do. I think creating that awareness around you in your 40s is super important because, like you said, when you get to your 50s, there's a lot of women that feel like they're finished. It's over. But
Yeah.
I will say this out loud and proud that we are not our mother's generation. We
So
are
true.
we are a group of women that know that we have better health care. We take care of ourselves better.
We
We
color our hair.
yes, no, I
My
never color my
grandmother
hair.
at my age looked 100. She did. Her hair was
Yes.
white. She looked 100. It was
Yes.
super short. And gosh, I mean, we're
Isn't
just,
that,
yeah, we're
isn't,
not that generation. Yeah.
no, and we know that we have so much more to give, and we know we've so much more life in us. And it makes me so sad that these women get to 50 and they're looking around themselves and going, what is going on? Why do I feel so, you know, just just with zero direction? I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. So yes, you say, do I say start in your 40s? 100% start in your 40s. And I don't mean, you need to do something radical or anything
Yeah.
like that. What I would say is make small changes, just very small changes, because those small changes together will compound to change the trajectory of your life going
Yeah.
forward for the next 30 years. So, and I wanted to just preface with that before I go into talking about identity. And if you're
Yeah.
okay, are you comfortable with me reading my story about the identity of women and the handbag?
Sure.
Because I love this.
You mean our pink handbags? No.
Yeah, well,
Um,
whatever color handbag you like is going to be fine. But
okay.
this was, and I've shared this with you, Erin. This came
Yes.
to me through the universe, through a woman complimenting the size of my handbag. And I went home and I thought about the comparison of a handbag and the identity of a woman as she moves through her life. So I'll read this if you're okay with it. And
Absolutely.
so every handbag a mom carries is really a mirror of her identity. Who she was, who she became, and who she's ready to be. Her handbag is more than an accessory. It's a mirror of her identity through the seasons of life. When she's young, the bag is small. It holds only what she needs for herself: a lip gloss, a wallet, a key. She is light, she is free. Then comes motherhood, and the bag grows. We know it does. First a diaper bag, then a tote that can carry snacks, toys, wipes, school forms. Soon it's heavy enough to pull on her shoulders, but it brings her so much joy to fill that bag with necessities for her family. Soon, though, that bag will also hold everyone's emotional needs: her child's tears, her partner's silence, her family's expectations. She becomes the fixer, the one who carries the tools for everyone else's wounds, but has nothing inside for herself but maybe a worn out lipstick. So she tries to unzip the bag and let out her pain, but too often nobody wants to hear it. So she tucks it back inside and keeps carrying. The bigger the bag, the heavier the life. And I just get shivers down my back when I say that sentence.
I
And yet
know.
she clings to these bags because for years they are her identity. Her worth is measured by how much she can hold. Then comes
Yep.
another season, the empty nest. She looks at that bag and realizes it's not just heavy, it's crushing. Her body even feels it, our aching shoulders, tired back, a weight she can no longer deny. This is the turning point. The bag must get smaller. She begins to release what no longer serves her: one sided friendships, family drama, unspoken resentments. As the bag shrinks, something else grows: her space, her freedom, her sense of self, her desire for more. If she purges what is inside that large, cumbersome bag that is hurting her and shifts to a more compact one, she now has the space to allow herself to breathe, to heal, and to become who she was always meant to be. She moves from being the carrier of everyone else's life to becoming the author of her own. The handbag tells the story of who she was and who she is ready to be.
Wow. That is so true. Yeah. I had goosebumps. That's amazing.
Yeah, and so it
Wow.
is. We change identities. So I think as women especially, and I lean into women here because they are my niche. And I know men change their identity too as when they become fathers and all of that. But I think women go through the biggest transformation in life because of they're young, they become a girlfriend, they become a wife, they become a
Hmm.
mom, and then they
That's
watch
true. So many changes,
so
really,
many
so many
in
changes.
in
Yeah.
a short lifetime. It
Hmm.
is a short lifetime, and then from there they watch their children leave them,
Hmm.
you know.
The things that they poured everything into
Yes.
for the last 20 something years, and then they're gone. I know.
Gone.
It's such a like a,
But it's
yeah,
and it's there's so much joy in it too, so much
right.
joy, but there's also that heavy emptiness that's left behind.
Of
And
course.
if you have been that people pleaser and you've just been giving all your life and not receiving, it becomes really difficult to know where you should go, what you should do next. And that's where the identity kind of eclipse comes in, where you're left going, I've I've only I've only given and I haven't received. So who am I now? What do I
Right.
do? Where do
Right.
I go? How do I and the other big question when you hit this identity eclipse, which is like not knowing who you are,
Right.
you want to know your purpose now, because your purpose had been invested in your family. It had always been your family,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And you never questioned it because it was
Right.
it was the most beautiful thing in the world, and it fills you up so much. I know it did for me. I mean, just to come home, and even last night my daughter came to me and told me, she said, "Oh mom, I forgot to tell you, but I've anchor club at school and a part of that, and I signed up to send in something a fall bake item." And she goes, "And I'll get 2 hours if it's homemade." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this was 7 o'clock." But
So
you know what?
so then it was up to you to
It was,
bake.
yeah, the
Yeah.
2 hours were my 2 hours to give. But you know what? I jumped in, Erin, with both feet. I ran down to the grocery store. I bought all the stuff to make these
What a good
the,
mom you are.
these brownies, these what was it, sweet potato and cream cheese brownies. And but
Yum.
I hadn't been needed in a while. I hadn't
Ah,
had anybody
yeah.
ask me
Yeah.
for something, and that's my natural place to be, to
Hmm.
to be doing, to be giving.
Yeah.
So, and I have to be aware of that too, because I also need to feed me. I
Yeah.
need to feed me, because
Yeah.
if I don't, I'm just gonna get lost,
Right.
you know?
So back to like, I mean, what do you recommend? I know that this is, well, thinking about the friends of mine that do feel lost. You say that your clients aren't lost, they're leaders. So what made you choose that reframing, and why do you think so many women relate to feeling stuck instead?
So I would say to you, it's listening to that call, because I think that call comes in for all of us. That soul yearning, telling you that it's your turn to
Yeah.
go out and do something for yourself. But a lot of us there's so many things that stop us from listening to it. Fear, right? Fear of change.
Right.
Because there's the expression that we it'll come to me now in a second. I've dropped it now for a second, but it's the fear of change, the fear of
Mhm.
disappointing others.
Yeah.
We are, as I said, once you're the giver in the family, you don't want to upset the apple cart.
Yeah.
You'd rather stay put in an uncomfortable position than actually change that apple cart, turn it upside down, and move forward, because you don't want to upset anybody. You know,
Right.
society tells us, still tells us, because it is the truth, tells us our place. And it's hard to fight against. It's hard to fight against the rules that have been there for a very, very long time. And
Yeah.
if you haven't been fighting it already, it's very hard to find the ignition inside you to start fighting it as you enter into, your midlife.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fear, but I think it's creating an awareness around what it is you want to do and who you want to be, because you still
Right.
get to choose, you know?
Hmm.
And that's where the coaching comes in. The coaching comes in to open up that doorway so that you can start asking yourself the right questions that identify what it is that's holding you back. The
Yeah.
fear, is it imposter syndrome, society, whatever it is that's holding you back. It gives you the opportunity to delve down deeper
Yeah.
and start unleashing who you really want to be. And
Right.
sometimes that's quite no, it's quite a clarity call for people when they realize that, I've always wanted to do this, but you know what,
Yeah.
I stopped thinking about that 20
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you know?
So, many women I know fear when you're talking about fears becoming irrelevant once their
Yes.
kids grow. How do you personally define relevance now? I mean, how should they define relevance? Is I guess it's like you said, delving in and finding something that they enjoy, or
Yeah.
I don't know how to
And
feel relevant again
as
for
it,
themselves. Yeah.
yeah, and it does, as I said, it doesn't have to be a major trajectory change,
Yeah.
but it has to be something that I would say relevance is when you feel like when you wake up in the morning that you know your purpose and it
Yeah.
makes you want to get out of bed. Irrelevance is the opposite. When you lay in that bed and you're like, I don't even know what to do with this day. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I hate this job that I go to and I've been in for 25 years. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be just the supporting person to my husband anymore and just, let him call the shots in my life. I don't want to do that either. I want to have the control over me so that I can move me in the direction I want to go. And I think that removes irrelevance because then it puts you as the authority of your own life.
Yeah. Very important. Okay. So when
It
you
really
talk,
is.
it is, it's huge. So when you talk about, another thing that you talk about is the infrastructure for your future.
Yes.
What does infrastructure look like for a woman who's been living reactively for decades? You know?
So the infrastructure, so my program is an investment in your future self. It's not just a solution for today's problems. So what we learn together is the skill set that you're going to take forward for the rest of your life, and it will allow you to constantly come back to awareness. So when you feel like you're going off track, and you're driving your car, and you feel like those things that stop you from going outside
Yeah,
the
yeah,
road
yeah.
lanes,
Yeah.
and they start moving, shaking you around.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like that. My coaching will do that for you. Will give you the shake that you need
Yeah.
to say, "Hey, I'm going off track. I'm really going
Yeah.
off track. I'm starting to be I'm the giver, and I'm not putting myself first anymore. So now I need to start thinking about me." The framework that we'll build together will become part of the decision making a toolkit that will take them for years. It will take them into years to come. So
Wow.
it's a structure, and
Yeah.
but my clients, they're all whole, they're complete, and they're resourceful. So the power is within them to decide where they want to go. And I always use the example of the lady that I coached, and we were 4 sessions in, and she had so many things that she wanted to do, but everything kind of meshed, everything kind of just layered on top of everything.
Yeah.
And it was on session 4 that she actually hit that aha moment, and one actually fed the other, and the other fed the other, and the other fed the other. And so when she started at the top, it was all going to funnel down to all of her desires. And she kind of looked at me, and we just sat there, and she just went, "How did we get here?" And I'm like, I didn't even know, because my clients do the work. I
Yeah.
just guide them.
Yes. And
You
and
know,
you know, and they need to have we all need to have someone else guiding us, especially if we're at that. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of coaching. I think everybody needs coaching or therapy or something, because it's nice to have somebody outside of yourself, outside of your immediate family, who can get you there, can
yeah.
get you to that point.
And I
So,
just I just want to interrupt
yeah.
real quick, because I know,
Yeah.
so we don't get confused, because therapy and coaching are two very different things.
Right, right, right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So, and
I'm exactly,
yeah,
exactly. I know. And you're not a therapist, but I,
yeah.
I guess I just think of having a different person who is not family to talk to. who's
Yes.
not your friends and people that know it is nice to talk to somebody else,
Because I think
Um,
I think
yeah,
we also don't allow ourselves the space to question where we are,
yeah,
and the space, because we're most of us are on autopilot. We get up, we do the same thing every
right.
day, and we don't question it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How do women begin to uncover? Because you were saying, I don't even know how we got there, you and your client. How do women begin to uncover who they are beyond their roles? Like, especially since they've been caretakers for everybody else. I mean, how do they delve in, or figure it out? It just seems like it would be hard for a lot of people. Like my two friends that I was telling you about. They're just like, I have no idea
Yeah.
what I want to do.
Yeah. And I think you just said the word is, it's difficult. It's hard. But
Yes.
if you do the work, and you do the little bit of homework that you're assigned each week, and as I said, small actions, and these
Yes.
are not big actions, small actions each week compound. And once you start seeing things changing for you, and you start understanding how it makes you feel better, you will see the results slowly build upon each other. And then, as I said, once they're all in place and you've got this new roadmap for yourself, it helps you then to move forward with that new trajectory in front of you. And you can see the forest for the trees. Like, you can actually
Yes.
see it. It becomes real to you. And I think once something becomes a bit more tangible, it becomes believable. And then once it becomes believable, you'll continue creating the action to achieve it.
Yes.
you
That's
know
cool.
so
Yeah. 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 That makes
yeah.
total sense. So, okay. Kind of want to shift a little bit.
Okay.
So let's talk about, when a woman starts to reclaim herself.
Mhm.
And because I know, I'll just, share some. I know, like, personally, 2025 has been a total year of transformation for me for a lot of different reasons.
I love that.
But so now there's, at night I have a couple different things that keep me busy. But it's affected, well, probably my husband the most, only because I used to cook dinner every night. Dinner was my thing. I love
Same
through
here.
food. I am a feeder. I know I am. I'm just like, my kids' friends come
Me
over and
too.
I'm like, what can I make you? Do you
Yeah.
want some this or that? I
I
always
love
have
I
food
love
ready.
through food. I love
I
through food.
love through food
Yes.
and I always have. And so now my kids are working, they're on different schedules. Sometimes they're home, sometimes they're not. And I'm doing some things at night now. And I just said to my husband this morning, because then I feel guilty. And he's like, don't worry about it. I'll make a frozen pizza, which are his favorite things. And I'm like, that is so bad for you. It's so bad for you. So I feel really responsible to, like, make healthy food for him. So I don't know why I worry so much. But you know why though? Because listening to you, I'm like, oh, there it is. Because that has been my thing for 25 years. Like, it's been, I mean, not my main thing, but a consistent, like, everyday thing. Feeding these people,
I know.
and
I know.
whoever else comes in the house, I'm like,
Yeah.
have some more food. So that has been a shift. So when a woman starts to reclaim herself, or she's shifting, or she's transitioning, especially, you 40s and 50s, what shifts do you see happen in her relationships? I mean, especially marriage and family dynamics. How does, I mean, luckily I have a wonderful husband. I just adore him. And, um, you know, 30 years, 28 years married. And anyways, he's always been great. But I can see how that in some relationships, it wouldn't be an easy change.
Yes. Yes.
So what do you see? How do you help there? I mean,
Yeah, it's so I don't coach the couple, so that's a good, that
right,
thank
right,
God. And
right.
yes, I don't coach the couple, but I
No.
I will I will tell you that yeah, it's very real. It's very real. And because when a woman has been in the position of being, as I said, the giver for 30, so 25 years, 25 years,
Yes,
that becomes the norm, that becomes the expectation within the home, right? And then when the woman
totally.
shifts
Yeah,
and starts saying, well, what about me? Like, as you said, I mean, nobody thinks about me. And here's the thing too. A lot of women believe that they need permission to go and forge ahead for
yeah,
themselves. But They don't, because, you know, at the end of the day, the only person that you're responsible for, the actions that you're responsible for, is yourself. Like,
Right.
you're not responsible for your husband's actions. And
Right. Right.
if he's not comfortable with what you're doing, you're not
Mhm.
responsible for that.
Right.
And that
But it's
comes out
that
in
guilt. It's the
well, I
guilt. You
think
know what I
I
mean?
th-
Like I
no,
always
I do.
enjoyed the cooking and stuff, but it's the guilt. And he's like, "I'm fine. I'll make a sandwich." I'm like, "Okay, but really?" But it's the guilt. I'm sure you see that with a lot of your clients. It is. It's,
Listen, last
you
night my daughter, it was just my daughter and I, my husband's away, and my daughter, I said, I was asking her when I picked her up from school, what do you want for dinner? And she was like, I don't know, I don't know. And I said, do you want me to do burgers? And she goes, yeah, yeah, burgers are great, and broccoli, and broccoli. That's her balance, right? I'll take the burger and the broccoli, and I'm like,
love
okay, I
it.
can do
Yeah.
that. So then when she told me about the brownies and I had to make them, she was so sweet, and she said, you know, if you want to buy burgers and just cook broccoli, then that's fine. And I was like, and then I thought about it and I went straight there, Erin, I went straight to the guilt.
Oh,
I was like,
right?
well, I have to go to the grocery store so I can pick up the burgers. And I said, so now you choose. So I think it's something that we'll fight with all the time. I don't
Yeah.
think we'll ever remove it, because if that's your
It's
natural
and it's
stand,
on us. Yeah, it's not on
yes.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, when you build a toolkit to help you see the awareness of how this is going to, I mean, you can meet them halfway, right? You can make a dinner a couple of days a week, whatever,
Yeah.
you know,
And
you
that's
can,
pretty much what I do. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but it doesn't have to be that every night thing, because, you know,
Right.
your world has evolved, you know, there's not that
Yes.
many people in the home and all of that. So
Yeah.
I do think that's a struggle that a lot of women continue to struggle with. But I think finding that awareness around it and notice when you're doing it, we'll call it to check,
Yeah.
you know?
That's been a weird shift this year too. Just like, okay, wait.
Yeah. And
Um,
it kind of leaves a hole as well, because, you know, when you had that full table, I've had, you know, 6 people at my table,
yes.
and last night there was 2 of us.
I know. It is weird. That is weird. I
Yeah.
know.
It's a
I'll tell
struggle.
you,
It's a
I'm
real
happiest.
struggle.
It is when my kids bring their friends home. I am like, I love it when the kitchen is full. When the
Yeah.
kitchen, it's mainly I mean, I don't care where I love it. I still,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, okay. So okay, so for people listening and how can how can partners support this process instead of feeling threatened or left behind?
Okay. Well, I think they need to realize that it's our turn now, it's our time
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
And realizing that should come with the empathy and the understanding that this person also has the right to grow. I mean, it's a right. It's a, you know, it's not a privilege,
Yes.
it's a right.
Yeah.
And just sitting back and watching them flourish, because if they're doing something that they actually really love, and
Yeah.
they're no longer doing something just out of sacrifice,
Right.
and if they've supported your children and you for all your life, I think it's time for them to sit back and go, it's my turn to support you, and to
Yes.
watch you flourish. And, you know,
Yes.
and having we all want to be seen, Erin, right? I mean, it's so important that we're all seen and we're held and we're nurtured. And I think just because we're midlife doesn't mean we don't still need those things. It's
Yeah.
very important to have that support, because the alternative to that is you're fighting resistance. And that can be very difficult to grow yourself around resistance, you
Yeah.
know? So for
Oh, for
your partner
sure.
to understand that and to embrace that and know that if they support you, then you will grow to the best version of yourself. And that only supports them more, you know, at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
It does. And yeah, and it's and them supporting you is going to make them happier because you're going to be, I don't know, you're going to
Yeah,
grow together and
you're going to be the
and
best
you're gonna
version of
the best
yourself.
version of yourself. Yes.
Yes.
That's what I don't get with some men who don't. And I'm like, you know, she's 10 times happier and she's going to be 10 times
Yes.
happier with you. Why aren't you being supportive? Like, ugh,
Yes, yes. And there's so many other benefits, when you have
yes.
children, and especially with girls, if you're reinventing yourself or reestablishing yourself like in midlife, whether that be a career shift, whether it be taking a hobby and turning it into a profession, or maybe just taking on a hobby, maybe it's working
Right.
on yourself physically. There's so many different
Hmm.
aspects of what you can be doing. But
Yeah.
what an example to show to your daughters and to your sons that just
Right.
because I'm at this age doesn't mean I'm done growing. I get to
Hmm.
continue to grow until I have no breath left in my body.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's how yeah,
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
That's I want to do that too. I really do. So you mentioned that women don't want a band-aid. They want a roadmap, right? So what are the first few steps on that roadmap?
So with my roadmap, we have it's split into a 12-week program, and
Yes.
we have the first four sessions are deciding. What we do is we decide what it is that you want to do. We do the dirty work to delve down, to get over the guilt, get over the fear, get over what's holding them back, so that they can eventually decide what it is they want for themselves. Because some people know, like some people, it's very obvious to them. I've really wanted to do this for such a long time, and I've set it on the side burner, and now it's my time. And that's wonderful. If they have that clarity, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
but sometimes they don't know how to get there, and there you have to overcome, as I said, all that guilt, all of that, the imposter syndrome. Well, what if I'm not good enough? And the biggest
Right.
concern so many women have is, well, what if I fail? Like if I fail as a mother, I'm failing with everybody, everybody, But if I
Right.
fail with this dream that I've had, and now I've made everybody uncomfortable around me, and I've caused all this dissension in my house, what if I
Right. Right.
fail? And that's a huge fear, and it's a huge, it's a kind of a level of entrapment for women, because once you get stuck there, you sometimes can't get out of it. So we
For
work.
sure. Yeah.
So that's the beginning of the roadmap, and then the next part of the roadmap, which is the other four sessions, is planning. We plan how you're going to get there. We plan what you need to do to get there, and
Love that.
we plan all of the roadmap out so that you're not left confused. You have a direct line of how you're going to get there, and then the last four sessions we activate. We put it all into place.
Yay. I love
And
that.
that's the most exciting part. And then by the end, you're so confident in what you're going to do that you're going to take it forward. And as I said, this will be a toolkit that you'll use for the rest of your life, because when you ever get to the point again where you don't know what to do, you'll go revisit, decide, you'll think about your planning, and you'll activate again. And it's such a powerful framework that it really, really helps just clarify from getting from A to Z.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that. I think that what you do is amazing and that
I,
every woman needs it.
yeah.
All right. So on that note, how if somebody wants to get in touch with you, Lorraine, how do they get in touch with you?
So I'm active on LinkedIn. I haven't really gotten active on other social platforms, but I am actually on every one. And you can find me at lorrainerwalsh.com on anywhere. You can
Lorraine
go visit my
R. Walsh.
website, and that's
Yes.
lorrainerwalsh.com as well. And you can set up a discovery call with me at lorrainerwalsh.com, and
Love
we
that.
can
And
have a chat.
also all of her everything, all of her socials and her contact information will be in the show notes. So all you have to do
Lovely.
is click, just one click away. Well, this has been amazing and eye-opening, and and I'm going to be thinking a lot about this, just what you and I have talked about, and even before the podcast, it gave me so much to think about, really.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
okay, so we always end the show with what is one thing that maybe is your passion or something that maybe people don't know about you, but that you can share with us.
Well, can I share two?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So I think I might have said this at the beginning. I'm not too sure. But I don't think I've ever met a woman that I didn't like.
Aw.
Like I just have a connection with women that I've always had, and it's been there since I've been very young, and
Mhm.
that's why I believe like this is my vocation. This is really what I was meant to do, because I
Yes.
love I love just talking to women. And
Hmm.
as we said at the beginning, like we went on for a 15-minute chat and we chatted for an hour and a half. And I think we could have chatted for three. I mean, we really could have.
Totally.
And
We really could have. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah. Yeah.
the other thing I'm doing is I'm actually taking a certification for human design. And
Oh my God. I love that. We had somebody on our podcast,
yes, and it was
on the
actually
podcast.
that made me think about doing it. So I think and I believe that the combination of both coaching and human design is going to be phenomenal. And just to
Amazing. Oh my
yes, and I'm
gosh. I love it.
so excited. I've done an intro certification. I'm going advanced,
My
and
God.
because it resonated with me so much, and I'm so excited to combine both platforms together, and then to be able to offer
And it
my
just makes
clients.
sense. It
It
just
really
makes
does.
sense.
It
To
really
me,
does.
human design or any of that stuff is like, when people, like a Myers-Briggs test. It's
Yeah.
to me, it's the same type thing. It's finding out what your personality is, what your likes are, what you'd be best at,
The
and
word the
human design is spot on, huh?
the word I use again, and it's what is coaching is all about. It's creating that awareness. And
Yes.
once you have that awareness, you can bounce. You can
Yeah.
bounce into so many places. Once you know truly who you are and what makes you tick and what doesn't make you tick, and that's a huge one too. And once you know that, and then you'll know the places that you should be in. You'll know the places that you don't belong in. You'll know
Yeah.
what makes you happy. You'll know. I had to make a big decision the other day, and I'm an emotional energy, and I knew that if I made the decision right there, right then, I have to wait 24 hours. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
And I waited the 24 hours, and based on the result of what I did, I was so glad I did.
Good
But
for you.
I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known if I didn't understand human design.
Yeah.
So yeah, so my answer to your question is I have not met a woman that I did not like. And I mean that
Aw,
genuinely from the
love
bottom of
that.
my heart.
That's great.
And
That's
yeah,
great.
and human design is going to be the next part of my coaching, and I'm super excited to be able to offer that
Oh
too.
my gosh, that's going
Yeah.
to be amazing. Oh
Yes,
my
yes,
goodness.
yes.
Yeah, human design was fascinating until I had that guest on. I really didn't know about the four things that I had heard of it kind of briefly, but I didn't
The
really.
energy types. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was amazing. Like, yeah. Anyways, I'm so excited for you. Well,
Yeah,
thank you
thank you.
so much for coming on. This has just been eye-opening, and I hope everybody reaches out to you because it's just so helpful. It's so helpful. And,
And it's
if you're kind of
also
feeling like, what's next?
it's important because the
It's
one thing
important as a
we didn't
woman.
talk
Yeah.
about was the health factors that if you don't
We
start
can talk about that. Yeah.
yeah, we didn't. And but if we don't start, like if we live in an unhappy place and a place that you just don't feel connected to who you are, it's unfortunate, but illness follows, and it could be mental, it's depression, it can be physical, cancers, all of that stuff. So to live your purpose and to live the identity of who you should become is it's not just like important, it's critical. It really is
Yeah.
critical, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh
And
my
too many
gosh. Yeah.
women just float and drift. They just drift until they hit a point and they're like, I don't know what to do now, you
Mhm.
know? So as I said, 40s, start in your 40s. I think it's a fabulous age to start.
It really is.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah. Again, this is amazing.
sure.
Visit Lorraine, set up an appointment with her. You will not regret it. Yeah, you're amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you, Erin. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks again for listening to the Office Latte podcast. You can find us anywhere you listen to your podcast. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok at Executive Resume, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Office Latte Podcast. If you have any career questions or conversations you want us to talk about, send them to officelattepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll answer them in an upcoming show. Have a great week and stay caffeinated.